What's going on, Niner fans? How we feeling? Sorry about a little bit late, but better late than never. Had some things to take care of, and I'm still dealing with this cough. So, how we feeling? How we doing, Niner fans? Busy day. Niners are all on the board. There's a lot of news going on, a lot of rumors. We got a week until free agency, and all the rumors are just piling up. So let's talk about them all. Let me pull them up. Let's see. What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? You getting a lot better? Not really. I'm still sick. I couldn't sleep last night, man. Cough was keeping me up. I don't know, man. Taking medicine, trying to do everything. It's like hard to be live. It's hard to even stay. I've been trying to keep up with all the content. It's been hard, man. I've been late on like pretty much every report. This kid, I don't know. I'm trying my best, but I'm sick. I'm working. I don't know. It's been a rough couple of days lately, but hopefully things will get better. But let's talk about the news today, shall we? There's a lot of rumors today about the 49ers. So first and foremost, we all know that Davante Adams got cut today. He got released from the Jets. That's pretty much what was expected. They weren't going to find a trade partner that was going to take his salary. So now he's free to go sign with another team. Probably wants to go to a West Coast. The 49ers traded away Deebo Samuel. According to Gianna Rossini, 49ers wanted a fourth, settled for a fifth rounder. Adam Peters was like, we're not going to give you a fourth, we'll give you a fifth. So now there's a void with the 49ers. Could they get Brandon Aiyuk or could they get Davante Adams? They absolutely can. They might. I don't know. It depends on his, willingness to play with the Niners. Maybe he wants to go and find out where Aaron Rodgers is going to play again and go play there. Depends on how much money he wants. If he still wants a premium bag, Niners aren't going to throw a lot of money to Davante Adams. The thing is, 49ers are trying to spend less. They got to pay Brock Purdy. There's been different reports about Brock Purdy, but the fact of the matter is the 49ers need to make a tough decision here. And there's going to be a couple of players that aren't coming back next week. And we'll talk about those guys, right? So the Niners, can they bring in Davante Adams? Maybe. It's a possibility. I'm sure they'll at least call. Due diligence, they'll at least give him a call and see what, he's looking for. We're looking for 1-year deal, 2-year deal. Does he want incentives? What kind of contract is Davante Adams going to get at this point of his career, right? The 49ers have to be smart because last year they paid a lot of money to Brandon Aiyuk, and that didn't really go out so well. I mean, obviously he got hurt and you can't predict the injuries, but Brandon Aiyuk getting hurt was huge. And now the other news of the day is Brandon Aiyuk. The trade rumors are circulating around Brandon Aiyuk. And Adam Schefter today was on Pat McAfee show, and he says with the financial situation the 49ers are in, they're opening to listening on just about anybody. If there's a team out there that is willing to take on the Brandon Aiyuk contract, I'm sure they would listen. They're willing to take, offers on Brandon Aiyuk. Now, the contract is tough. There's a lot of money. A dead cap hit is insanity. Like the 49ers paying this guy an arm and a leg over the next couple of years. So if a team wants Brandon Aiyuk, it's a risky. And they have to see if they believe that he's going to be back and be able to play at a high level. He's coming off a massive injury, ACL, MCL, meniscus. I don't know. I don't know if a team really wants him, but they're offering him up. They're open to trade talks. If a team comes and says, hey, we'll give you a 5th-round pick, 4th-round pick, it might be good enough for the 49ers because they want to get rid of these players that are hurt, that are throwing away their money. And it seems like they want a fresh start. Like, I know there was a lot of news that triggered the fans today, but the 49ers had 6 wins last year. They had 6 wins. They got to do something different. Whatever they had last year wasn't working. And that's the reality. We love these players. We love, Aiyuk, Debo, Greenlaw. We like these guys, but they, whatever was going on last year, injuries and everything, maybe the 49ers need to move on from that situation and create a new, like a little retool. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what's going on with the 49ers. But Brandon Aiyuk rumors are out there. He posted a picture of himself in New York for the first post he made all year. He's chilling in New York. Got the shiesty with the camo hat on. I don't think that fit was post worthy, but he thought it was. And he's chilling in New York. But I don't know. Brandon Aiyuk's he's an odd character sometimes. Who knows what's going on through his mind? Last year, when the rumors were circulating around his name, he had some weird cryptic posts. Money talks, bullshit walks, the little emoji post. Remember that? The heck was going on with him? So he's a weird guy. You can't really know what's going on in his mind. But yeah, he's apparently on the trade block. That's that news. Again, Brandon Aiyuk. Maybe they trade him. Maybe they bring in Devontae Adams. Who knows? But again, the cap situation plays into part of all this. The 49ers, after the Deebo Samuel trade, they have about $36 million in cap space. You know, they had to eat some of that money. The dead cap hit. You know, they saved a few millions here and there, but they are down to 36 million. They got to restructure Kittle and Fred Warner most likely. And then they got to bring in, you know, Brock Purdy on a contract. Obviously, his big cap hit will be next year. So they'll be fine and dandy this year with Brock Purdy. But moving forward, that Brock Purdy contract is going to really hit the books hard. And, you know, Adam Schefter today talked about Brock Purdy. Obviously, they want to get a deal done with the 49ers and Brock Purdy. But the Niners have a bit of a cap issue right now. And I don't imagine they can offer as much as people think. Like Adam Schefter's thinking that maybe they don't give him the 55, 60 million. Maybe they say take 50. Maybe they say take a little less. 3 years, 150. Maybe that's what he gets because they're kind of cap strapped. They put themselves in a weird position over these last couple of years. So this is a tough situation to be in, but the 49ers have to navigate this the right way. And the next couple of weeks are really going to dictate how good the 49ers can be with this roster and what their team's going to look like. Is it going to be a young team? Are they going to have a lot of draft picks that dictate, you know, the starters and things like that, right? There's going to be players that leave. Like at the end of the day, Kyle Juszczyk, he may not be back next year, you know? Could be a cap casualty. I know people don't like to hear that, but John Lynch talked about that last week where he says, you know, we do have to make some really tight cuts here and there. And I'm sure that they're going to talk to Kyle Juszczyk and ask him to take a smaller contract, do a little restructure like he did last year. He didn't like it last year. So maybe he goes to another team. There's not a lot of teams that use a fullback, so he doesn't have a lot of options, but maybe some team's willing to pay him more than the 49ers. He's still a good player. You know, he's a, all Pro Bowl fullback. There's not a lot of them, but teams that use him, he'd be great for them. So, and there's Dre Greenlaw, and there's a lot of reports going on about Dre Greenlaw. Dre Greenlaw, according to multiple reports, they're saying that he's going to test free agency. And it's pretty much what John Lynch hinted towards last week. He says he expects him to possibly test free agency if they can't get a deal done before, when the free agency period starts, 12th. Now, according to some reports, 49er Sports Talk, I mean, I don't know how credible this is, but there is a 1-year prove-it deal on the table. Now, people, they hear that and say, oh, he's proven it. Jerry Greenlaw's proven himself. He's proven himself on the field in terms of playing, but he has to prove he can stay healthy for another year. So if the 49ers give him a 1-year deal, here you go. Can he play 17 games? I don't know if he can. And it's not a slight to Dre Greenlaw. He's a hell of a player. But you guys have to realize he's coming off an Achilles tear. That's a tough injury to play, especially for a linebacker. It needs to be aggressive, sideline to sideline, jumping, cutting. It's a big injury. It's a big risk. Maybe the 49ers say, hey, look, give you 1 year. If you do great, we're going to extend you like to the moon. But I'm sure Greenlaw wants to be linebacker one somewhere, just like Azeez Al-Shahir did when he left the 49ers. I'm sure he wants a little bit more financial stability, a little bit longer of a longer contract. I'm sure he wants 2 to 3 years. He's got a family. I'm sure he wants to have a little bit more financial stability instead of a 1-year deal. I'm not saying that a 1 year, $10 million is nothing, not financial stability. But, I would love to have that. But at the same time, family, he wants to make sure he's set for a couple years because injuries do happen. You never know. So Dre Greenlaw could be one of those guys that is a cap casualty. We'll see. And then there's another guy, Jordan Mason. 49ers are reportedly having a lot of trade inquiries around the league regarding Jordan Mason. According to Matthew Berry, says, don't be surprised if Jordan Mason, who proved he could be a legit starting running back in the NFL last season, gets dealt. Now, it's possible. I know he's a restricted free agent, so they'd have to sign him, trade him, or the team would have to offer a tender. and the Niners don't match, and then they get the trade pick. So maybe a second round tender, $5 million. And the Niners say, no, we don't want to give you that $5 million. You can go to this team and we'll get the second round pick. That's pretty much what a trade situation looked like for a restricted free agent. So it could be that Jordan Mason doesn't come back to the Niners, and then they turn that pick around. They go get Cam Scatterbo or somebody. They've met with him. You never know. Maybe the 49ers use a high pick on a draft, on a running back, third round pick, right? Maybe they get another undrafted star, 6th round pick. I don't know. Elijah Mitchell, he's, injured himself, and he's also a free agent. I don't think he's coming back. Niners are really good at getting undrafted running backs. So I definitely think Mason's great. I would love to see him stay, but the 49ers can find running backs all the time. John Lynch, he finds running backs every single year, undrafted, Niners have 2 running backs right now on the roster, pretty much, like 2 steady running backs, if you think about it. Isaac Guerrero and CMC. We all know CMC's coming off a big injury, and hopefully he could come back. Isaac Guerrero was banged up a bit. He had to be thrust into that starter role last year. He did a good job, but, he's never really had to take high reps. He's never been a starter. So it was a lot of work for him. They need to make sure that they have depth at running back. So Jordan Mason would be great to come back, but I'm not going to guarantee it. I would think that they would look around. And if they can't afford it, they'll let him go and they'll go draft someone, which would be a lot cheaper. Let's see. No playoffs. Mario says no playoffs. Doesn't mean they can't make the playoffs. They're just going to get rid of some players. They can retool. There's a lot of talent in the draft. Look at the Rams, man. Look at the Rams. They lost Aaron Donald. They lost a lot of talent. And they hit the draft. And their team is basically star-studded because they just had just blue-chip draft picks. If the 49ers draft well, they can make it back and get to the playoffs. They got an easy schedule. So this is a year where you can get rid of a lot of players and still be able to win games, with an easy schedule. So I think this is the one season where the 49ers can say, hey, man, we're going to have to cut ties with people. We're going to have to really draft well. We're going to have to develop our players and hunker down. Because if you look at this talent on the roster, the 49ers really haven't drafted anybody that's worth franchise tag. They didn't use the franchise tag. They haven't really developed anybody that is worth a damn. Like Brock Purdy, he's great. I'm not saying he's not. They're going to give him an extension. Diamo Lenore, he got his extension. Those 2 guys were drafted. They cultivated them. They developed them. And they're going to get paid. Well, Diamo Lenore already got paid. Brock Purdy's going to get paid next. So it's like, okay, who else did they draft? Last year, they had a good draft class. Now, if they continue to play well and develop and play better, down the line, they're probably going to have to pay them. Or maybe they franchise tag one of these guys down the line eventually. They just haven't been in a position where, who are you going to franchise tag, right? You're going to franchise tag Talanoa Hufanga? You're going to franchise tag a guy like Dre Greenlaw? I love Greenlaw, but you're going to pay a lot of money to franchise tag him when you might be able to work a cheaper deal with them because of the injury. So Niners just haven't really had that guy that they're like, oh, man, maybe we franchise tag him because he's just going to cost too much, but maybe we can tag him and negotiate a contract with them. So it's a weird position. The 49ers are in a weird position, but I think they're in a good position because they do have a last place schedule. So this is the one year where they can really experiment, get rid of players, and bring in guys that are, younger and they're hungry. These young, hungry players are what the Niners need. Like, look at last year, Pooney, Mustafa, Ronaldo Green. Those guys were dogs, man. Those guys were awesome. And we loved what we saw out of them. And now we know, we're hoping for more out of them next year, right? We're ready for these rookies to turn into sophomore stars. So the 49ers can do what they did last year. They're in a good position. And this is the best year to do that, to get these young players and say, hey, man, we got young players starting. We're going to let them go. We're going to let them run because we don't have any other option. And we should be able to win these games. So we'll see. JR says, I thought Mason was a free agent. So, yes, he's a restricted free agent. But, again, the 49ers can tender him if another team, offers him a tender that's higher than the Niners are willing to pay. Let's just throw this out there. Let's say the 49ers are saying, we'll pay you $4 million. This next team says, we're going to pay you $6 million. Niners like, nah, you can have him. Now, if it's the second round tender that is placed on him, depending on the value, that would be, the second round tender. Then he gets a second round pick. So that's how you trade a restricted. It's not like you're trading him, but it's more like you're trading his rights. You're not tendering him, and then you get a draft pick in return. So in a sense, yes, you've traded a pick. So yeah, Steven says, don't forget Ricky. Exactly. Ricky Pearsall, he could be great. Hopefully he is. There's going to be a lot of pressure on him, though. Looks like Juice will get released. Yeah, that's a guy that could be released as well. He's a guy that, again, we mentioned him a little bit earlier ago. 49ers want him. John Lynch last week at the Combine said, the cap constraints are a little dicey right now. Maybe we can't pay, but we'll see. Let me pull up what he actually said. I have the quote from the Combine last week. Let me see. Sorry, let me pull this up. But yeah, Kyle Juszczyk is a guy that could be 100%. He could be gone. This is what he said. This was Kyle Shanahan. He said, Juice is a great player, and he's really been valuable to us. So he's part of us. We'll see. We're thinking of a lot of things right now. We're trying to make everything work and some tighter constraints that we've had in the past. We got tighter constraints. And he said that specifically referring to Kyle Juszczyk. They're probably going to ask him to take a pay cut, extend your contract, or do a restructure. And will he want it? Maybe not. So they might release him. Right. And then if a team that really wants a fullback, they'll probably pay him more than the Niners are willing to. Right. Maybe the Niners want to pay him $1.5 million, $2 million. And there's a team that's going to pay him $3 to $4 million. Who knows? Last year the Niners asked him to restructure and take less money, and he made a big stink about it. I remember that. It was like a big thing. Talked about his contract, and he was so upset. He made a big point of that. So I wouldn't be surprised if Kyle Juszczyk is gone this season. So we'll see. Yeah, Rob says Juice was mad last year, taking a pay cut. Exactly, man. Steven says Jake Tongs might take fullback starter over Juice. He could. There's a lot of players that 49ers could use to, take over that tight end or that fullback spot. Maybe they draft a guy, right? Who knows? There's a lot of options. Again, they want to save money. They want to get younger. Throwback says, hope your day's going well. You sound better. It's going all right. I sound a little better, but it's a little deceiving. I'm still not 100%. I do sound better. I'm not coughing like 500 times a second, but depends on the day. Maybe tonight at night times when the cough it's just so bad. I don't know. But yeah, I'm trying not to talk. That's why I haven't been live. I've been trying to rest, but I've been late on posts, man. I've been so behind, and it's hard to keep up, man. But I've been trying to stay active as much as I can and posting as much, but it's tough when you're not feeling like take a nap here and there when I get home. Still got to work, but it's rough. Last night I couldn't even sleep. California man says Drake Jackson should get released. He probably will. John Lynch talked about Drake Jackson last week and talked about how injuries, have really been rough on him. So, yeah, being sick does suck. Throwback. Christine says the thing with Juice, he can play different position when needed. Yeah, he's a versatile guy. And no hate on Juice. He's great. But do they use him enough to justify paying him the amount that they do? Probably not at this point. So you gotta save some money. $2 million here, $3 million here. Got to save some money. And I think Juice is a guy that he's expendable. I hate to say it. He is. I love the guy, but he's expendable. So what's up, Nathan? How we doing? Throwback says Drake Jackson is done. I'm being real here. Yeah, he's done. He cooked. He's souffle cooked. So it's going to be interesting. So those are the big stories of the day. A lot of rumors. Adam Schefter dropping some bombs saying that the 49ers are absolutely looking to trade Brandon Aiyuk. They're willing to take on, if there's a team that's willing to take on Brandon Aiyuk's contract, I'm sure they would listen. As we mentioned, a lot of people have been inquiring about Jordan Mason. Could be sign and trade. Deebo Samuel, John Lynch wanted a 4th-round pick. He got a 5th-round pick, and he settled. Dre Greenlaw, a lot of teams or a lot of reports are saying he's going to test the free agency market, which John Lynch alluded to last week. But the biggest report of them all is There's apparently a 1-year prove-it deal on the table, but Dre might want more financial stability, and he may take a longer deal with another team if it's offered. So he's going to be testing the market, and the 49ers did not. They did not use the franchise tag. That's pretty much it. A lot of news, a lot of rumors. There's so many things going on, a lot of smoke, a lot of mirrors. This is smoke season, ladies and gentlemen. We don't know what's true. We don't know, what holds merit. Most of the time, these reports come out and then they blow over. Sometimes they come out and they're true. Like a couple of days ago, there was a report on Friday, and I believe it was Matthew Berry, and he said, look for the 49ers to trade Debo soon. He said it the day before the trade. He goes, from what I heard at the combine, the 49ers are looking to trade Debo soon, within the next couple of days. Literally the next day, Saturday, breaking news, boom, Debo's family gets traded. So some of these reports will tell you what's going on. It depends on who it is. Depends who's plugged in who. But over the years, you figure out who knows ball, who knows what. And so far, I think these reports are pretty valid. I think they're pretty legit. And I think that there's a lot of weight to all of these reports that we talked about today. So Rob says, I'm choking on all the smoke this smoke season. Maybe that's why I'm sick. Maybe all the smoke of smoke season has ruined my lungs, and that's why. Maybe that's what it is. Cosmo says, without Dre Greenlaw, the 49ers run defense sucks. Ah, man, yeah. He's going to be a big loss, but the 49ers didn't have him last year. We saw what he did when he came in for a game. He was great. He was amazing. I'm not going to lie to you. He was so good. But I think the big question for the 49ers is, can you sustain that through an entire season? Can you play at that level you came back for in that Rams game for 17 games? And I don't know if the answer is yes, guys. I love Dre Greenlaw, and I would hate to see him go to another team and just tear it up. And we're like, fuck, we should have signed him. But the risk of taking a guy that's coming off an Achilles rupture at his position is very risky. It's a big risk. So I can't fault the Niners for being a little gun shy and paying the guy. But on the flip side, he's so good. You know what he brings. We know there's reports Robert Saleh wants him. He's adamant. The Niners said they want him. I'm sure they really want this guy. But if he wants a lot of money compared to what the 49ers are willing to offer him, he's gone. So he's gone. That's my takeaway. I think he wants to go somewhere where he can be linebacker one. Unless Fred Warner tells him he's linebacker one every day. Maybe that's what he can do, right? Convince him. But I think it's done. I think the writing's on the wall, man. We'll see. 11th pick for podcast Parsons, says Z. Oh, absolutely. Go. I'd give the 11th pick for Mike Parsons. Can you pay him, though, after you trade for him? That's the question. Just like anybody. Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, Mike Parsons. Can you pay any of them? I don't know. Peter Rouse says, do you think they should sign Devontae Adams for veteran help? I do, but at the same time, I would be cautionary. I would be cautious if he wants more than they're willing to bargain for. At this point, is he 32? His best days are definitely behind him. It's not going to be like this all elite wide receiver. Could still be a very good receiver in this league. He could still be a very good option, a veteran, very, very good. We've had some guys come in on this team. Remember when Emmanuel Sanders came in, a veteran? This guy was solid. If he could be like Emmanuel Sanders for this team, sign him up. But I don't know what type of guy you're getting over here. He's healthy. But, you get a little older. You lose a little speed. You lose a little agility. But I would love Devontae Adams. I think he'd be great. Just got to be at the right price. Just got to be at the right price. Again, Niners are trying to save money, get younger. Because you want to set this team up for years. You bring in a guy like Devontae Adams, you might lose out on getting a young guy, that can really step up. So we'll see. Devontae, not a fit with Kyle, says Rob. I think he could fit in any offense. He's a good receiver, man. Key says, just got here. Do you think Aiyuk gets traded? Last year we would have got better picks. Honestly, I think there's a high chance that Brandon Aiyuk gets traded. I think the 49ers, I think they just want to move on from these, just these dramatic issues. I feel like they could massage the the relationship and make it better. And I think they could get back on track with Brandon Aiyuk. I really do. But at the same time, if they can get anybody to take his contract, which Adam Schefter was saying, I think they'll trade it, because you got to realize this year is pretty much a lost year. How many games is Aiyuk going to play? If let's say he comes in week 8, okay, he's probably going to take 2 to 3, maybe 4 weeks to get back to 100%, because he's going to be rusty coming back off this injury. It's 12 weeks potentially. How much is he really going to contribute to this team? So maybe you just cut your losses and say, hey, go to another team, you get a fresh start like they did with Debo, and we'll go from there. I do think there's a very high chance that Brandon Aiyuk gets traded. Ultimately, I think he'll stay on the Niners this year. I think my final prediction is he stays. Yeah, I think you're right, though. They would have got a lot more for him last year. He was healthy, coming off a huge season. He was one of the big wide receivers on the market. He potentially could have got a first or a second round pick for the guy. This year, you might get a 5th round pick like he did for Debo. He's coming off a huge, huge injury. So, it's tough. Luis says Debo unfollowed me. That's it. I felt like he would. It's about time. Let's see. Did he? Did he really? Did Debo really unfollow me? Let's see. No, he's still following. He's still following me, bud boy. He's still following me. We locked in like that. Don't do that to me, man. I think he's still following me on Twitter too. Yeah, we follow each other. Look at that. Follows you. You got that follow from Debo? That's my guy. Other people are getting blocked. You see other content creators get blocked? Not me, Debo. We locked in like that. So, yeah, BA could be back sooner. Who knows? He is young, but that's a big injury, man. That's a big injury. Big injury. So, I don't know. We'll see. But in any case, it's a lot of rumors. We'll talk about them a little bit more tonight. Be on live with Larry at some point tonight. He said like 8:45, man. I hope he doesn't go too late, as I am dog tired, man. But we'll see. We'll see what Larry wants to do. He's going to work me like a dog tonight. But you guys have a good rest of your night. Appreciate you. I need to get some rest. I hope I feel better soon so I can talk more. You guys have a great rest of your night. I love you. Go Niners.